Hey guys, welcome back to my classroom. Today I will be reading and annotating 3 texts on the Passport Unit 1 workbooks. El Requerimiento of 1513, Vasco da Gama, Round Africa to India, 1497 to 1498, and the Demarcation Bull, 1493. El Requerimiento 1513. Historical context. The Spanish requirement of 1513, El Requerimiento, was a declaration of Spain's God-given right to take possession of the territories of the New World. The requirement was read in Spanish to Native Americans to inform them of Spain's right of conquest. Native Americans didn't read, didn't speak Spanish. Those who resisted were considered in defiance of God's plan. In the name of the King, we, their servant, notify and make known to you as best we can that the Lord, our God, living and eternal, created the heaven and the earth. God, our Lord, gave charge to one man called the Pope that he should be Lord and superior of all men in the world. Power. That all should obey him and that he should be head of the whole human race, wherever men shall live. One of these popes made donation of these isles to the king and to their successors, our Lord, with all that they are in their territories. So power and wealth, for wealth. Wherefore, as best we can, we ask and require you that you consider what we have said to you, and that you take the time that shall be necessary to understand and think upon it, and that you acknowledge the church as the ruler and superior of the world. But if you do not do this, and maliciously make delay in it, I certify to you that, with the help of God, we shall powerfully enter into your country and shall make war against you. In all the ways and manner that we can, again, power, and shall subject you to the yoke of obedience of the church of their highness. I think this is power and morality. Because it speaks about God and the right of the church give, or the Christianity faith give, to take in power. We shall take you and your wives and your children and make them slaves. Power and wealth, because whenever we hear a slave, we think of money and possession. And shall sell and dispose of them as the highness may command. And we shall take away your goods and shall do all the mischief and damage that we can. Goods. Take all your goods, all your possessions, wealth. And we protest that the death and losses which shall accrue from this are your fault, and not that of the king or ours, nor of these men who come with us. Wow. So in this article, we see examples of both power, wealth, and morality. The three themes of European exploration. The second reading is from Vasco da Gama, around Africa to India, 1497 to 1498. Historical context. Vasco da Gama was an emperor from Portugal. He was famous for being the first European to sail to India. His expedition to India opened an ocean route from Europe to Asia for the first time. By finding this route, Portugal no longer had to use the Mediterranean Sea, which was being controlled by other countries. The route also made it possible to travel from Europe to Asia completely by water. So I'm going to underline the most important thing. On the following day, May 22nd, these same boats came up again alongside when the captain major sent one of the convicts, a criminal, who could speak Castilian and Genoese. They asked what he saw so far away from home, and he told them that he came in search of Christians and of spices. So Christians and spices. So whenever we speak about Christians, I think of morality, and spices, I think of wealth. After this conversation, they took him to their lodging and gave him wheaten bread and honey. When he had eaten, he returned to the ships, accompanied by one of the Moors, who was no sooner on board. Then he said these words, a lucky venture, plenty of rubies, plenty of emeralds. You owe great thanks to God for having brought you to a country holding such riches. And both of these have to do with gold or wealth. We were greatly astonished to hear his talk, for we never expected to hear our language spoken so far away from Portugal. And I also want to underline, he told them that we came in search of Christians and spices. The city of Calicut is inhabited by Christians. The first voyagers to India mistook the Hindus for Christians. They are tawny complexion. Some of them have big beards and long hair, whilst others clip their hair short or shave their head, merely showing a tuft to remain on the crown as a sign that they are Christians. They also wear mustaches. They pierce the ears and wear much gold in them. The women of this country, as a rule, are ugly and of small stature. They wear many jewels of gold around the necks, numerous bracelets on their arms, and rings set with precious stones on their toes. All these people are well disposed and apparently of mild temper. At first sight, they seem covetous and ignorant. So the fact that they keep talking about the jewelry that these people wear, it is clear that they're thinking about all the gold they can get from going to India. So I'm going to underline that. And I'm going to put wealth right here. And then the fact that they're saying that these people are mild tempered is like they think that they can overpower them. The Europeans thought they could overpower the Indians. And let's not say, and to be more specific, Vasco da Gama thought he could overpower the Indians. Alright. So in this one, we see issues of power, wealth, and morality. It is clear that Vasco da Gama went to India in search of spices, and he found spices, but he also found gold and precious gems. And then he also went with the intention of converting these people to Christians. But then when he got there, they were already Christians, even though they weren't, but he thought they were Christians. The next article is Demarcation Bull, granting Spain possession of lands discovered by Columbus, 1493. The historical context. Following Christopher Columbus' voyage to the Western Hemisphere, both Spain and Portugal attempted to claim the land that had not previously belonged to a Catholic nation. As Christopher Columbus had discovered this land for Spain, the Spanish monarchy was angry at Portugal. King Ferdinand II and Queen Isabella of Spain asked at the Pope to resolve this dispute. Pope Alexander VI issued the Bull of Demarcation, a document granting Spain permission to claim all the non-Christian land located west of an imaginary line known as the Line of Demarcation. Portugal was entitled to claim the land to the east of that line. Upon further exploration, Portugal appealed the location of the line, which essentially granted them no land to claim in the Western Hemisphere. The line was moved by the Pope under the Treaty of Tordesillas, allowing Portugal to claim the land now known as Brazil. Below is an excerpt from the Bull of Demarcation. So basically, we're going to read about these people thinking they had the power to just claim land where other people were already living. Among other works, well pleasing to the divine majesty and cherished of our heart, this assuredly ranked highest, that in our time, especially that the Catholic faith and the Christian religion be exalted and be everywhere increased and spread, that the health of its souls be cared for, and that barbarous nation be overthrown and brought to faith itself. So these people are saying that they needed to spread the Catholic faith or Christianity. And I'm going to underline. I'm going to circle exalted, so that means like rejoiced or praised. And it says the Catholic faith and Christian religion be exalted and increased everywhere. And I want to also underline the fact that they think you can overthrow these barbers. So not just morality, I see both morality but also power. We have indeed learned that you, Spain, who for a long time had intended to seek out and discover certain islands and mainland, remote and unknown, and not hitherto discovered by others, to the end that you might bring to the worship of our Redeemer and the profession of the Catholic faith, their residents and inhabitants. You choose our beloved son, Christopher Columbus, whom you furnished with ships and men equipped for like design, to make diligent quest for these remote and unknown mainlands and islands through the sea. So it's like he's saying God and Spain made Christopher Columbus. discovered these lands. They discovered certain very remote islands and even mainlands that hitherto had not been discovered by others, wherein dwell very many people living in peace and, as reported, going unclothed and not eating flesh. In the island and countries already discovered are found gold, spices, and very many other precious things of diverse kind and quality. So now they're talking about what they can get, so well. Moreover, we command you, in virtue of holy obedience, that employing all due diligence in the premises, you should appoint to the aforesaid mainlands and islands worthy, God-fearing, learned, skilled, and experienced men in order to instruct the aforesaid inhabitants and residents of the Catholic faith and train them in good morals. So he's saying, you should give them, this is saying, give us the power to rule these people, to rule the Native Americans, so that they could teach them about Christianity. And that's evidence of power and morality.